The Fargone Podcast, presented by This Is Coffee. Premium instant coffee meant to be enjoyed outside. Get yours at thisiscoffee.ca. Alrighty, well, another episode of the Fargone Podcast, hanging out with old Reece boy here. Dude, how are things?
Honestly, they've been great. So happy to be back home in Canada. Was a long season, lots of great racing. Best season I've ever had for sure.
Heck
Had its
yeah.
highest highs and lowest lows, but so stoked to be back home and good to see the snow melting off the hills. And I think I already got a couple bears on that I've seen driving through.
Do ya? You've been
Oh
picking
yeah,
up a
yeah. I
couple
saw.
already. They're
Well,
waking up.
I saw a there's this Sowing cub that always pops out at the ranch real early in the season, and I saw her the other day going out to check on the horses. But no, it's
Heck
good to
yeah.
see them.
Dude, well, that sounds like a blast. Yeah, man. It seems, dude, I'm not going to pump your tires, but I am going to pump your tires a little bit here. Well, you won another, it's a crystal globe, right? Another one of those tied for the most crystal globes ever won, which is the overall of the ski cross season, right? So, dude, that's like, and obviously this last year as well, you obviously got the most wins under your belt as well. So, dude, you're like, you are the GOAT.
Well, it's been working out really well lately for sure, and no, it's been awesome. It's been able to be really consistent, which is a really tricky thing in this sort of a sport. And yeah, fortunately stayed really healthy this year. Didn't have any injuries. I think I only kind of crashed once, which is really ridiculous for
Hmm.
a ski cross
Yeah,
season and stuff. But no, it was super great, super fast, and really great how the preseason all started. And it all starts off with a great hunting season, right?
that's the truth, man. That's the truth. So, dude, coming into freaking spring bear here, what are you getting prepped for? You got any hunts on the get go, or what are you kind of thinking?
Nothing overly planned when it comes to bears right now. Probably might be a bit of a tag along deal with
Mm.
my brother if I come back to BC here, but I have actually made the move to the great independent state of Alberta.
The
So
great
no,
independent state, baby.
no, I just moved to Alberta there, and gonna be great for training.
Yeah.
So much easier for flying out of. At the
Mhm.
moment, I have to drive 6 hours to Calgary because it's basically simpler than having to deal with going to Vancouver and all that. Go to Calgary and then have to fly out. So now I'm half an hour from the airport. Yeah, great situation there. I've got some good connections with some people with some ranches down there, so I'll be doing some stuff with that. Got places for
Sweet.
the horses, and no, I'm very excited. And actually got a bunch of intel on the transition between residency and how the hunting deal is going to work and stuff like that. So
Dude, well, I'm excited to chat about that a little bit more because I do feel like on and first and foremost, congrats, dude. Like obviously I've known for a little bit now, but dude, like congrats. That's freaking awesome. Like that's a great move and obviously feels very logistically correct kind of in your position too and not having to do that commute anymore. So, dude, that's like stoked for you, man. It's gonna be freaking awesome. So, and now we just know another Alberta resident that hopefully can figure out the old hunting world and then get more BC guys out there and doing the whole thing. So, but dude, I'm
pronghorn,
excited.
ducks, birds.
Yeah, dude, the pronghorn thing, that one interests me a lot. So, but dude, I'm excited to hear. So, like, what is the process looking like? I've had a couple buddies, like obviously Riley McKinnon. He just moved back to Manitoba from BC. And he had like a bit of an up and or just like just figuring out the system and kind of how to get back into there. And then also like while he was moving, doing the BC thing and things like that too, right? So um what does that process look like for you to obviously become a hunter in Calgary? Do you have to like do your hunter's ed course again and everything along those lines? Like do you have to start from ground zero? Or what does that look like?
Yeah, so like the core that we have in BC is a standard equivalency to whatever they do in Alberta. So they accept that, and then obviously the PAL is a federal deal, so no issues there. But yeah, so basically, Depends. I think it's a little bit easier if you already have a win card and a win card number from putting in for draws and stuff
Hmm.
in Alberta,
Yeah.
or if because in the past I've hunted pheasants in Alberta and stuff, so I've had to get a win card so I can get a tag for that. So um, if you didn't, you would first have to apply for a win number and get your win card, and then I'm pretty sure like once you do that, um, again, don't quote me on this. I've heard I haven't done the research that I really need to do, but
Yeah.
word of mouth and stuff, what it sounds like it's going to be is so technically I've been a resident of Alberta for 3 months now.
Okay.
Um, I just waiting on my driver's license to come in the mail, and then I'm pretty sure I'm pretty much good to go for getting tags and stuff like that once I'm an
Mhm.
Alberta resident. Although if it's the same as BC, there is a 6 month probationary period you kind of have to wait.
Okay.
And so either way, I'll be good for fall hunting because I have 3 months banked from January when I got in and stuff like that. And I think even if I didn't, I'd be catching the tail end of hunting season, even if it started last week when I or swapped over my driver's license. But yeah, so like, because I know more about the Alberta to BC transition because that's actually where a lot more people get hung up and
Mm.
caught and in hot water unintentionally. Because when you go from Alberta to BC, I'm pretty sure it's once you actually commit to being a BC resident, you have to wait 6 months before you can hunt as a resident in BC.
But yeah.
And a lot of people kind of assume that that's not the case or whatever. And because like once you get your driver's license, you can buy tags and stuff like that in BC. So because that's the problem is that you can go through it all, but you can be in the wrong, even though you have the ability to buy all this stuff, right? There's like there's no barriers there. Like, oh no, you have to wait another month before you can get this tag. It's not the case. So just make sure everybody does their research and stuff. But it looks like it's not going to be too big of a deal. I don't have any big plans of hunting bears at the moment, but kind of more excited to get back home and focus on starting the horses out good. With Alberta and being close to the Rockies there and the foothills, I'm definitely wanting to do some horse little hunts poking in there and doing some exploring. So definitely going to be focused more on getting the horses prepped up and lined up for that. I've got a reasonable amount of gear now, and so that's kind of more my focus than putting bear meat in the freezer. And I've got more meat than I could hope for with that bull I got last year. Then me and Ryan got that bull as well, so we got tons of moose meat in the freezer right now. So
Heck yeah. Dude, I love it, man. Dude, well, I'm looking forward to you sending some videos over of the whole horse process and everything like that too, right? Because like you said, or like we've chatted about, and we actually still have that film coming out with you that should be out, honestly, like it's pretty much done. So it's gonna be
sweet.
getting released real soon. But a big thing that spending time up with you and stuff is like, hey, like it's a huge interest of mine, especially obviously like the ranching and the horses and everything like that have been so yeah, so ingrained in you now at this point, where it's like a part of what you do. But now being able to do that from a hunting perspective too, right? And training those horses up to be able to do that. I'm excited for you to start getting those guys out in the freaking bush, man, and hearing about all the ups and downs that comes with it, right? So
No, for sure. No, I'm really excited. It should be a lot of fun, and I got a really good spot there where have like a bit of an apprenticeship situation, helping out on a ranch and training some horses and stuff like that, which
cool.
gives me the flexibility to do what I need to do. I'm not like locked into a full time job and stuff like that, so I can do my training. When things come up, I can go do them. I'm not letting anybody down.
Yeah,
So, and it's nice because like we're just west of Longview there, so technically I can just like saddle up at cow camp and ride out into the backcountry. I don't even need the trailer and go
that's
out and do an
awesome.
awesome trip. So
Yeah.
really excited to about that, and no, it should be a good time. And also like the Howdens we're rooted bird hunters,
Okay.
and so I'm really
All right.
excited to maybe get back into those grassroots there. hunting some pheasants and then
Yeah.
getting back into the waterfowl. Like when my dad grew up in Saskatchewan, there it was
Mhm.
in one day you would go and get your deer for the season, you know, because it was that easy. Go and you shoot your deer, fill the freezer, good to go, and then the rest
That must
is
be nice,
hunting
eh?
birds. Oh yeah, and the rest is hunting birds. And if you talk to my dad on the right side, you'll know how many shotguns he's shot in his life
Yeah,
because he can't
that's
hear you.
yeah, exactly. Just that one ear, man, just done. Oh, frick, dude, I love that. Dude, I'm actually heading out to Alberta in May for a goose hunt, which I'm real stoked on.
Perfect.
So
That'll be
I'll be
exciting.
getting a little bit of that Alberta waterfowl, a little bit of that Alberta waterfowl feeling.
That's perfect. That's perfect. But no, it's kind of cool. Like it actually kind of excites me too, like going to Alberta and because like there's a lot of stuff in BC that I haven't had the opportunity to really pursue and harvest and stuff like
Mm,
that. And you know, hopefully we maintain having the opportunity to hunt some of these critters given some time. But you know, definitely plan on coming back to BC in the future, and you know, kind of excited to have something to kind of work towards once the ski season or career is done and stuff like that. Um, 30-year-old or mid 30-year-old Reece is gonna be chasing down some caribou and some animals we haven't got yet. So no, I'm really
yeah.
excited, and you know, also still have the opportunity with like the hunter host to be a part of some of those hunts. And you know, as an Albertan, no, you can't hunt in British Columbia without a guide, but you can hunt, you can get hosted for mountain goats and stuff like that. So you know, I'm still excited to go out with the family and friends and do those big sheep hunts, and definitely
Mm,
intend to be a part of those. And you know, they have opportunity for moose and elk and
yeah.
mountain goats and all the other things as well. But yeah, no, definitely excited to kind of have some things in the bank that I'm waiting to go after in the future.
Heck yeah, man. Dude, yeah, it is cool, man. Like and and yeah, we're lending you to Alberta for a little bit. Like you're coming back here to BC here. Like it's not a like a maybe it is, man. Like I have no idea, but I'm like in my eyes, it's like a little borrow Reese for a couple years here until the old career's done and then book her back into BC. So but within that too, like what are some of those species and what are like the like, I gotta be honest, like, I know very little about like, whenever I think of, like, the prairies and stuff, all I think about is birds, but in regards to, like, the big game opportunities, like, I know very little past the British Columbia border. Like, what are some opportunities obviously pronghorn and stuff like this, but what are some opportunities that you maybe don't get in British Columbia, in Alberta? And also too, yeah, what does that kinda look like? And maybe, what do those hunts look like, and are you planning to get out on any of them?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the really cool things that'll interest you is Alberta actually really gives a lot more opportunity to bow hunters than in British
Oh,
Columbia. Like, because
sick.
for the most part in BC, you're either competing with rifle hunting
Yeah.
or you know, you get like that first 10 days pre-season that you can get out there before the rifle guys. Um,
Mhm.
but but really you're not it's not much different in my opinion. Sure, we do have some archery only zones, but not what Alberta has. Like we have in Alberta here, we're gonna have like full on archery seasons and archery
Yeah.
areas, and really giving a lot more opportunity to people who are archery hunters and stuff like that. And that's something I'm really excited about.
Heck yeah.
You know, exploring that and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
With like, and that's with mule deer, whitetail deer, um, elk, and all that. And then also just like the draw system is going to be really cool to learn how that all works. You know, being that it's a little more of a similar draw system to like Montana and stuff like that, where
Really?
it's like,
With the
yeah, so
point
it's a
and
little
all that.
more on the point side of things. So like,
Yeah.
if you strategically, what you want to do is you want to decide on what hunt do you want to eventually get, and then you just
Mm.
keep putting in for that one, and you do increase your probability of getting that hunt every
Mm.
time you put in.
Yeah.
Unlike in BC, you can put in for a, 10 to 1 odds and never get
Yeah.
it,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Unfortunately. But yeah, so that's something I'm excited about and like very excited to start putting in for antelope and stuff like
Yeah.
that. That's something that we don't have in BC,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Then also, we do have I think there's a bit more opportunity now
Mm,
after we lost the open season for Kootenai bighorn to hunt bighorn in Alberta. So
yeah.
definitely excited to go out and chase some bighorns and hopefully check that box in the coming years. But
Yeah.
no, I'm really stoked and like it's the same with BC. Like there's some just really awesome gung ho guys that are super stoked for hunting in the outdoors. So really really great community to be a part of and Calgary's a really fun spot, and it should be it should be great. Um, and then also like the fishing, getting
Yeah.
after some walleye, hopefully, and 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 all that. So
Doing
yeah,
lots
no,
of
it should
river
be.
floats, doing the whole nines, man.
Plus, I got the jet boat, so we gotta go do some exploring.
Dude,
There's a lot of
100%.
rivers around Alberta there that I'd like to go and rip. So that should be fun.
Yeah, dude, I love it. Yeah, man, that community's so special. I was out in Red Deer for the like the Wild Sheep Society Alberta kind of banquet and everything like that. And we did like the trade show and all that a few months back. And the community's incredible, man. Like everyone's so sweet, but so passionate too. Like BC, like there's very passionate hunters in British Columbia and a great community there too. But it's cool to see that like still pushing kind of the farther east and stuff you go to, right? So, definitely a great vibes out in Alberta, man. I freaking love it. So
For
good,
sure.
dude. So, what does that transition look so with the horses and everything like that? Um, because you have a horse out in BC, so everything's kind of moving on over. What's the training process looking? Remind me his name. Was it Buck? I want to say. Yeah.
Yeah, that one's buck.
Yeah. So remind me, so like when I was up with you, Buck was kind of like in you're like, hey, we've been working a couple years getting him ready for obviously hunting purposes here. What's that? Where are you at with him right now? Are you ready to like fully get on out there in the Alberta backcountry? Or do you still got a bunch more training kind of ready to go from there? Or what does all that look like?
Oh, he's old faithful. He's good to go. For sure. Like, honestly, the only thing he needs to kind of get back into shape. He didn't get rode a whole lot last year. I was a little too busy with all those other colts. So I'd like to give him a little more attention this year. And also we'd like to have, well, both him and I would like to learn to rope horseback. So I'd
Yeah,
like to get into
dude.
doing a little bit of roping and get him, you know, a little more proficient at that and same as myself. And then he'll be totally styling when it comes to being a ranch horse. But he's packed out in the backcountry before with the previous owner. And so he's good to go. But I have that Appaloosa that you saw last time
Yeah.
that we had the really cool pictures of. So
Yeah.
he's
Heck
mine
yeah.
now. And so
Dude,
and I
congrats.
put a couple of rides on him last year, so get him back to where we started left off, and then
Mhm.
yeah, we got to get some boxes on him and kind of get him a little more comfortable with that and do some packing with him. But yeah, so honestly, for Buck, it's just kind of miles, get him back in good shape,
Yeah.
and work him up to that. Work on some roping and just miles. Really, like the biggest thing with horses for the most part is just getting those miles underneath their feet, and
Yeah.
then kind of the same thing with the Appaloosa there. Just start with getting them comfortable again. It was a great start. Like I went and put the halter on him, walking right into the trailer, no problem. He remembers me to a certain extent, so that's good. And so we'll start off good and get some rides on him, and then do some trailing and swapping and stuff, and then start introducing, putting some stuff on his back and doing some packing and that sort of thing. So
Heck yeah. Well, dude, I feel like for most people, the springtime kind of sparks like, hey, now we got to get in shape. And for you, obviously, you're coming off ski season, so you're in real good shape. But it sounds like it's now we got to get the horses in shape. type of time for you.
Yeah,
So
oh, for sure, like, fortunately, we got a really good spot here where Buck gets to hang out. They just basically just camping on round bales all winter, so, he's got some good weight on him now, and, yeah, so just kinda, lean that into muscle is what kind of the
yeah,
plan, and it should be good to go, but, you know, I'm kinda interested too, because like, I'd like to probably do a little bit more research on it, but because I am an athlete, I kind of trying that same approach when it comes to getting him back into shape. Like,
mm,
if you've been sitting on the couch eating potato chips all
yeah,
winter, you don't want to go and just do the hardest workout you did the last time you were in great shape. So, you know,
exactly.
we'll we'll work him into it and probably kind of get him back into shape in kind of the span of a month. So, we'll start putting the first rides on him probably in sometime between April 15th and April 20th, and
Okay.
then hopefully around the middle of May he'll be you know shedding the excess weight and pretty much ready to roll and get some shoes on him, make sure his feet are good to go, and yeah, no, it should be styling.
Heck yeah. So what does that process look like? Is it a lot of like ring work and stuff like that, kind of previous, and then till he's ready for rides, or what does all that look like? And then just obviously
Honestly,
building up endurance from there.
for him, not too much. Like, just starting with the small things on the ride and just making sure you got a good backup, he's soft in the
Yeah.
face. um, and then making sure he's listening or like looking for your seat. So if we're walking and I want to stop and I sink into that seat, that he picks up on that and stops. And so working on that, and then honestly just miles. So first few times will probably just be like a walk or into like a trot and stuff like that, and then we'll move up into the canter and the lope after a few days, and make sure we don't overdo it and stuff like that, and just get him comfortable again and get his muscles good, because he's going to get a little bit sore at first, but he'll work through it and we'll be good to go. But for him, it's not, yeah, he pretty much just needs a bit of a refresher, and so do I. And then yeah, with the Appaloosa, we'll be starting in the round pen,
Okay.
probably get somebody to be in there to kind of flag him around at first, just to make both our lives a little bit easier,
Yeah.
and then moving pretty quickly. He's a pretty docile horse, so like I was riding him last time, I think second or third ride with spurs, just to kind of just like, so I didn't have to put as much pressure on him with my heels and stuff, and he just have a little bit better communication. So, and he's already had a bit in his mouth, and he knows
Mm,
left and right, and
yeah.
just working on that backup. So kind of first working on control in the round pen, and then
Yeah.
same thing. As soon as you got, you know, forward, back, left, and right, you kind of want to get those colts out and moving and
Yeah.
experiencing the world. So, and once you've done that, and they're like like basically, if they're like a standard riding horse where you can get on ride, you can back them up, you can go forward, you can turn left and turn right without being real rough on them.
Mm,
Then you can, once they've kind of mastered that and they're comfortable with the whole program, then we can start to introducing some a little more technical stuff like the side pass, opening gates,
mm,
and a little more control. Then all during this point too, working on picking up their feet so you can trim them up, get shoes on them, and get them comfortable that. Make it so it's easier on the farrier, that sort of thing. So,
exactly.
a lot to it, and I'll definitely
Yeah.
need to be making some lists on what I hope to get done each day.
Yeah.
But um, it just, yeah, the biggest thing is riding and focusing on the right things and miles in the saddle for sure.
Exactly. Dude, it's kind of like archery, eh? And now that you're in Alberta, you're going to be a big archery guy.
Yeah,
So are we shooting?
you can't
What
master it
what's
in one
that
day.
training program looking like, Reese? Tell me about the archery training.
Well, I'm currently living in suburbia, so I don't have the best archery range at my house, but
Yeah.
I'll bring the bow out to the ranch and be flinging some arrows in between working with horses, so that'll be great. But yeah, no, I'm should be good. Just fortunately, I put the miles in a few years ago that I've got a pretty good baseline when it comes to
Yeah.
archery, and it's kind of like riding a bike.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely excited to get out and do some more shooting and get proficient with it again and get comfortable. I've been shooting my bow for a long time, but haven't had anything big game success with the bow. So
Mm.
definitely excited to hopefully check that box. Even my brother killed a nice 4 point with my bow.
That's so
Guy went,
funny.
took the bow, did about
Yeah.
2 weeks of shooting,
Yeah.
and it actually worked out because he didn't have to mess with my rig. He basically was so when he would pull back, my 30-yard pin just worked out to be his 20, and then
Really?
vice versa all the
Yeah,
way down.
exactly. No way.
So, so he
That's
pretty much,
rare.
yeah, got relatively comfortable, good to
Yeah.
go. Went out for early season kind of scouting for deer and elk, and got onto this big bastard group of bucks, and went in there and fucking drilled a 4 point. I I think I was in Europe or I was skiing. I was skiing somewhere, and he sent me a picture. I'm like, no way, this is crazy. But super
Frick, man.
super cool story, and no,
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome to see him pull that off. But no,
Yeah.
I'm excited to get out with the bow, and it's no, it should be a lot of fun.
Dude, well, are we gonna see at any of the archery challenge events here, the Canadian Archery Challenge this year, or what? You gonna make a trip back to BC for us, or what are you thinking?
We'll see. I'd like to. Are we still planning on doing it again at Sasquatch?
Yeah, so we have the first one at Sasquatch, and we actually are doing 2 events this year, which we've yet to
Okay.
announce, but I guess we're announcing it now. We have one a little bit earlier, kind of up north in Smithers, that will be
Okay.
happening like 2 weeks before. And then we have the Sasquatch one as well. So Sasquatch will be, let me just pull up the dates here so I don't screw this up. Um, yeah, so long story short, first event will be July 3rd to 5th, and then the Sasquatch event will be July 17th to 19th. So that'll be a blast, man. Let's get you out of there.
Yeah, we'll see for sure. Pretty competitive though. That's the Stampede weekend.
Yeah, shoot, eh? Dude, we
Yeah.
didn't think about the Alberta crowd there. Frick, man.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely love to get out to at least one of those would be sweet, you know.
Heck yeah.
But
Yeah, no, dude, it would be a blast, man. It'd be a blast to have you out. So, and it'll be bigger and better than kind of last year. A lot of figuring things out, how to run a freaking archery event and how to do the whole
no doubt.
thing. But I feel like we got some things figured out. We're learning at least. And hopefully year 2 is gonna be that much better, right? So, dude, would freaking love to have you out. Even if you can
Yeah, so
maybe we'll get like a mechanical bull or something out here, and you can have a couple extra pops, and it'll be just like you're at the freaking Stampede.
there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect for sure. Just
There
gotta
you
get Zach
go, dude.
Bryan out there and you're all set.
Yeah, dude. What else do you need? So
Yeah. Hey, so I
maybe
was
get a little
curious. So
Charlie
when
Crockett
you
going at least.
yeah, when you guys did the first one, do you guys have any people coming up from the States to come to Sasquatch there?
Yeah, we did have, I want to say, a couple from the States. We had a bunch from Alberta. Believe it or not, there was actually a couple from New Zealand that showed up,
No
which we were
way.
really shocked about. Yeah, they flew out and they were doing a couple tacks and then saw our event as well and was like, okay, we're booking it up to Canada and doing that whole thing too, right? So it was a well-versed crowd of people for sure. So and like I said, there was just so much learning last year that happened, and it's sweet though, man. Like I really feel like we're offering something special there. It and now bumping it back, last year is a month earlier, so now bumping it back as well. We're really hoping that people view it as kind of like this is me getting ready for hunting season. And like that one, we have like 2 corner courses and kind of on the one course, man. It's like it's proper hunting conditions. Like, it's like there's no trails, there's no none of that. Like, it's like you're shooting up, you're shooting down, you're shooting like straight across. You got some tight stuff, and there's quite a few twisted ankles. Let's just say that. And that's exactly the way that we like it. As long as you're not breaking bones, but if you're twisting some ankles, it might be also a little bit of a slap in the face and saying like, well, you might need to get in some better shape kind of before hunting season here. So
You definitely
that's
want to be
really what we're
twisting your
trying to.
ankle there and not in the elk woods when you're out there either packing something out or chasing down a bull.
Exactly, right? So, that's the hope for it, man. It's like we wanna be, there's a lot of great archery events, a lot of great 3D shoots, even indoors and all that stuff too, right? Like, but we really wanna be like, kinda like, "Hey, like, this is hunting situations. We're practicing hunting here. We had scorecards last year, but I think they were so wrong. And like, we don't even know how scoring and stuff works. And we had like a joke where we're like, hey, like, you're not going to be allowed in if you come up with a freaking jersey on. Like, you're just not going to be not allowed to shoot the course on this one. So, but it was a blast, man. It was a really fun event. And like I said, this year, looking forward to hopefully not having rain like we did last year, and also just really getting people prepped kind of for hunting season. So, like I said, Reese, bring the freaking camper up and let's hang on out for a little bit, dude. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So what was the range kind of that you guys were doing those shots at between, I guess?
Yeah, I feel like we had one course that was, call it like, you had some real tight ones if you needed to, but any tight one would be like threading the needle of trees and like you're probably gonna break, or like an iron thing or whatever, and just like break an arrow. But the shortest I would say would be like 15 yards. But then we had some that were like, I think we had one that was pumping into 90 on the dial course that we had there. So or maybe it was even 95-ish, but we had like a big bore kind of set out there and it was just lofting it over kind of a bunch of trees there too. So but I would say the average shot is kind of between like, call it 30 to 60. And that's really like kind of the range. And once again, we simulated that because our we did that so we could simulate real hunting, where it's like, hey,
For
what's
sure.
that? What do you act like? Yeah, it's fun to shoot your bow at 100 yards, but like, you're not really taking an animal at 100 yards. Maybe some people are, and I'd love to learn their secret on that, but I sure as heck ain't. Like, it's so it's like trying to figure out kind of those ranges, but really adding in the technicality of it. And then also, like I said, the physical side of it, especially too, where it's like, man, like yeah, like the one course is a lot easier. Like you're pretty much hiking down like a dirt road for most of it, which is really easy. But like the one other course, man, like I said, you're pretty much bushwhacking, and it's like you're getting ready for that and getting the body ready, and also being like, okay, hey, frick, like, how do I shoot like completely down, or how do I shoot completely up, and like really simulating the situations that you would be in a real mountain hunting situation, right? So, yeah,
You're getting those side hill shots in,
yeah,
one knee down and then outside
exactly.
leg fully extended.
Yeah, exactly, man. That's what I'm talking about. It's so shocking to me how little people shoot their bow not completely on flat ground. Man, I worded that so terribly. But you get what I'm saying. I'm like, so many people practice shooting their bow and they're always standing on flat ground. And it's like, dude, as soon as you add a little bit of like like a tilt in there, like if you're like side hailing or doing anything like that, and you're like now flexing the calf muscles or something like that, like it really does change your whole kind of like, yeah, honestly, it really affects your accuracy. So it's like we should be practicing those situations, right? And doing that. And yeah, it's funny, man. Like, or even shooting like higher elevations or things like that, right? Like it really changes things. So that's why I want people to shoot the courses and stuff, because ultimately I think it's going to lead to hopefully more success in the field. Because if you're practicing these shots that you wouldn't have otherwise, it's like, man, if you're freaking pointing straight up at the thing, like your yardage is going to change a little bit. So how do you account for that? How do you get that thing freaking dialed in, right? So yeah, man, it's a blast. And we have like a long shot and stuff like that. And trying to build it into like a bit of a good event. And yeah, the long shot, like all proceeds and stuff last year went to like the Wild Sheep Society of BC, and we'll probably do something similar like that as well. So a little bit of a conservation give back, and Zeiss gave some binos and stuff for the winners of that too, which was super sweet. And yeah, man, just an all around good event. Like this year, some food trucks will be out there doing the whole thing. Like I said, camping, bunch of Airbnbs if people don't want to camp, but there you go, man. All the fun will be happening in the campground, so I don't know what to tell those Airbnb people, but But yeah, man, it's a great event. And like I said, really looking forward to year 2 of it. And like I said, would love to freaking have you out.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. We'll try to add that to the calendar. That sounds like a heap of fun.
Yeah, but like I said, we will be competing with Stampede, sadly. So maybe maybe we'll have to do a half and a half.
Yeah. Oh, for yeah, for sure, for sure. If I know some guys that straight up go first day to last day of Stampede, and they pay for it.
Yeah.
Man, do they pay for it. It's crazy. Like, once you start waking up at 1 or 2 PM the next day, and you got 2 hours before you have to head to Stampede grounds, that's when you know it's probably time to not go out the
Yeah,
next night. Trying to reset.
exactly. Dude, and then just do that over and over and over again, man.
But it is a
Oh,
it is a wild ride for sure.
yeah, it is, eh? I've never been. I've never been. I've had a bunch of buddies that have gone, but, yeah, I don't know. Never made her out there.
So what's next on the, docket for Fargone? What's going on?
Dude, lots been going. So obviously we just finished all trade show season, everything along those lines. That was wild, man. Like I think we were just naive to like doing the media company and stuff like that. I've never had to do trade shows before. But now like obviously with the outfitter and selling products, it's like dude, you gotta do trade shows. And I just didn't prepare properly for it. And dude, it was a time and a half, man, but it was great. Like even to Alberta and stuff, ended up bringing like the wife and kiddo, and even brought the dog, man. And we were just doing the whole Schneider family road trip out to Alberta for sheep show and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun, man. But kind of finished up that season, and now we're just all that work that we kind of neglected, we've been catching up on kind of after that. So just been a lot of busy days in the office, cruising from there. Got a bunch of new brands kind of in the store and are continuing to work on a bunch of new brands. So even yesterday, I actually just picked up Seeger, which is like a lifestyle like brand. Marsupial, so all the obviously vinyl harnesses and everything like that now that we're going to be carrying, and grabbed the full whitetail line and women's line and everything like that from First Light, and are just continuing to kind of work on partnerships for a bunch of new brands. So we have a lot of companies coming in kind of over the next couple months, which we're really stoked on. So kind of figuring out different apparel stuff to different, obviously product stuff and everything along those lines too. So just really trying to make that one-stop shop for Canadians, man. That's kind of the goal. So just trying to continue to build on that. And yeah, man, that's been keeping us busy and a lot of freaking learning, dude. Like, I don't know, man. Like, even on the marketing side, dude, like I obviously have had a media company for a long time and been happy with it and done all this stuff. And I felt like, oh, like, dude, like I know how to make freaking ads and like I can run a company like that and things like that. And it's like, yeah, I know how to like make ads and do all that, but like frick, dude, like how do you run them? How do you get people to view them? Like, how do you do that? And then on top of it being like, on the whole like warehousing thing, like how do I actually import stuff into Canada? And how do I warehouse this? And like, oh, shipping? What does that look like? Like the whole thing. So, dude, it's been a lot of learning, man, and we're just taking it day by day. But we've been pretty happy with it, dude. Yeah, I think and honestly, like what we've been able to the feedback we've been getting too, I think a lot of people are stoked, like especially with our golly and stuff like that too, and a lot of those brands that people have wanted for a long time that they haven't been able to get. Asiac as well, like things like that, like people have been really stoked on the products and to actually get their freaking hands on it, and also not have to deal with all the headaches of the border or have to deal with duties and tariffs and buy it for the same price. Like we price match to all over the world especially to the States. So it's like things like that, like people are really stoked on. So just continuing to drive that ship, man. See if we can stay floating. We're taking it day by day. Like I said, learning a lot. There's very many nights where it's like my wife and I got my little kiddo on the backpack carrier, and we're like, whether it be like working on trade show booths or working on freaking like orders or anything like that. Like we're just kind of bootstrapping her and taking her day by day. But really, really happy with kind of how people have received it. And then also just figuring out how to get them more, man. Like I said, really working on a lot of different apparel brands to different yeah, different hard goods to the whole nine. So excited, man. It's gonna be a good couple months here. And hey, if anyone's listening, definitely subscribe to the email list though, because that's where you will get notified of all the stuff that kind of comes into the shop. So but yeah, man, that's the outfitter update.
Sure, that's perfect. Well, but what everybody wants to hear is how are you going to one up a sailboat black bear coastal hunt
Yeah.
for this black bear season?
Dude, I don't know. Well, like I said, I booked Alberta geese hunt, so I don't know if that's kind of in that same window. But wanting it up, that film's actually going to be dropping here in a couple days, which we're really stoked on. But I don't know how we're gonna one it up, dude. Like that was the most epic mission ever, and
That's so wild.
dude, it just mixed everything together. Like, it's like I love spearfishing, like, grew up spearfishing a lot and things like that, and it's like, okay, sweet, like, you get that whole thing on the sailboat. You get, like, the obviously, the sailing part of it, but and then just spring bear hunting's sweet too. It's like, I don't know, there's a lot of hardos that would very much disagree with me, but I sleep in when I spring bear hunt, and I typically will, like, take my morning slow, and, like, my program every day was like, "Dude, okay, I'm sleeping in," and then, like and my sleep in is, like, 8 o'clock. Like, I don't sleep in very long, but, like, I'm like, "Oh, I'm sleeping in," sleep until, like, 7:38, wake up, make a cup of coffee, do the whole thing, then, like, every morning, I would just, like, go for, like, a dive, like a spearfish or anything like that, and then cook up whatever and get out there and chase for some freaking bears, man. And it was a blast. So, um, yeah, that's one's going to be hard to one up for sure. We were hoping to do it again this year, and we had everything planned and everything ready to go. And then, long story short, something happened with the sailboat and had to get pulled out of the water. So, won't be doing that. Won't be doing that. If we do get out on the coast, it will be more of a classic mission or um, honestly, typically, the way I've always viewed spring bear is just like I've always viewed spring bear more as an excuse to scout for like good deer spots. And like get the legs going, hike in somewhere, spend a couple nights. Like that's traditionally been my program. Last year was my first year ever hunting the coast. So that might be something that we kind of like jump into here too. But I have zero spring bear plans as of now. I'm heading out on a little vacation here. So looking forward to do that. So I'll be surfing for the next couple of weeks. But other
Awesome.
than that, I'm like, I don't know. I got to figure out something for spring bear. It might just be maybe it's local stuff. So maybe it'll be something local. But yeah, like in the hunting front, but I am really excited for that Alberta geese mission. Like Lauren Trousdale kind of invited me out on that one, and I'm like, dude, sign me freaking up, dude. Like if I can get out and whack a couple birds, and dude, I freaking love goose, man. It's honestly some of my favorite eating, especially if I cook it up lots of different ways, and I freaking love it. So really excited for that one too. So but yeah, man.
Well, that's perfect. You know, you live in the right spot for having zero plans for bear season, you know. There's nowhere else I love to hunt bears than in the Cascades. It's so
Yeah,
cool. It can
yeah.
be tough like it can be tough depending on the snow season, but this year should be awesome because the snow is so low
Hmm.
that you should be able to get into the alpine much earlier. Because I always struggle with you know, you guys closing in June 15th, right? So, because like really getting into that high country alpine bear
Yeah,
hunting, you got like 5 days to a week,
exactly.
right? Because the snow like just kind of gets off the slopes, and then you know, and you can like some years you don't. Some years you can't really hunt those south facing slopes
Oh
still
yeah.
hold enough snow to June 15th, so you can't really even hunt those alpine bears. But this year should be awesome
Yeah,
for
it's kind of
sure.
a catch-22 with that, right? It's like the spring bear is fun, but I also like I've spent a lot of time chasing alpine bears in September too. And it's like you kind of have like the catch-22 where it's like, okay, crappy slow snow season typically means that like exactly what you're saying, like, hey, you're gonna have a great time. getting up there a little bit earlier and getting some of that in the springtime. But it also, on the flip side, and especially depending on what the summer is, like typically kills off the berries a little bit earlier, I've found, and dries things up in the alpine. And then you're not necessarily getting those super like you're yeah, it's just you're not getting a lot of bears kind of come September if you want to hunt in the alpine. They're typically lower down. That's what I've noticed in the areas that I've hunted. But then if you have that deep snowpack, then typically I found that it keeps those berries ripping. And then you're like lights out in September, and it feels like some of these bulls that you get into, and you're like, okay, like I've had a couple where it's like, dude, okay, what are we gonna do there? Okay, there's 8 bears. What one are we gonna be picking after? You know, so it's like some of those days, right? So it's a catch 22, but yeah, I think it should be a good spring bear season for sure. Um, and like I said, yeah, it'll probably just be a bunch of day missions and maybe just booting off of freaking yeah, just booting from home and making the whole thing happen. So
Yeah, for sure. Well, I have some things going on in June in Chilliwack, so have to either communicate with you or some of the guys and maybe get out there and get up high. It'd be fun.
dude, well, let's just sign that up right now. Let's commit to that right here, right now. There you go. My spring bear plans that I'm going to be hunting with Reece in June. So
Oh yeah, perfect, perfect.
so good, dude. Well, frick, man, Reece, it's been great catching up, man. I feel like it's been a couple weeks, and dude, great to see the face, man. Looking forward to kind of next week and continuing the chit chats, dude. So there you go.
Perfect. Sweet. All right. Well, yeah, I'll talk to you later, Nolan, but so excited to get back consistent with the guys on the pod and got to do some research and hopefully have some really exciting content to share with everybody coming up here.
Dude, I love it, man. Yeah, I think Matt's just rolling back from Japan here. So looking forward to yeah, seeing how that guy's trip was and yeah, hearing everybody's spring plans and kind of getting throughout the season too as people start getting into some bears and getting into some harvests and doing the whole thing. So lots of good stuff coming up for sure. So heck yeah. And like I said, dude, your film's coming out real soon. So excited to send over kind of like that first draft there and then get your thoughts on it. And then also too yeah, for all the listeners, we have a spring bear film from that sailboat hunt happening real soon as well. So excited to get that launched. Love it, dude. Chat soon.
Perfect.